A 6-year-old girl is dead after a high-speed chase that ended in Brooklyn Center. The accident happened Friday around 4:30 at the busy intersection of 53rd and Humboldt Avenue North. Reporter Sonia Goins reports from the scene of the crash.
It's senseless.
Flowers and other mementos mark the spot where 6-year-old Blessings McLaurin Gray lost her life.
There's nothing that can make up for the loss of a daughter, a niece, a granddaughter.
Larry Romankin lives across the street from where the accident took place.
I heard a siren for just a couple of seconds and then heard the impact.
Brooklyn Center police were chasing murder suspect 28-year-old Hakeem Muhammad when he crashed into a vehicle Blessings and 4 other family members were riding in.
I can show you what the scene looked like almost immediately after.
The video shows damage from Muhammad's vehicle hitting the SUV, causing it to flip upside down.
The first thing I saw was a suspect vehicle. They had spun around and the back end was at the tree over there. And 2 officers were out with their shotguns or their rifles, their guns out. The SUV was upside down. Other emergency law enforcement was over there trying to get them out.
According to Brooklyn Center police, they tried to stop Muhammad before the chase even started. They say at times he was driving 70 miles per hour in a residential area.
I think the police should have stopped. 70 miles an hour is not unprecedented at this intersection, even when it's not a police chase.
The Hennepin County Sheriff's Office is investigating the case. Meanwhile, the community is struggling to come to grips with what happened.
I don't know that there's ever going to be any words to take away any of their pain.
In Brooklyn Center, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
A 15-year-old girl remains in the hospital. Meanwhile, the family has a GoFundMe page to help pay for funeral and medical costs. We have that information posted on our website, ccxmedia.org. Brooklyn Park police were involved in a police pursuit early Saturday morning. A vehicle holding a suspect wanted from a shots fired call was fleeing from Anoka County law enforcement across Highway 610 to West Broadway. After officers utilized a pit maneuver to stop the car, the suspect fled on foot toward area businesses. Brooklyn Park officers stopped the man and arrested him on new offenses and prior outstanding arrest warrants too. It's week 2 of the testimony in the Jamal Smith murder trial. He's accused of killing Crystal baseball coach Jay Bouton on Highway 169 last summer. CCX News reporter Sarah Tamer is back in the courtroom and tells us more about what happened on Monday morning.
On day 6, we heard recordings of jail calls between Jamal Smith and his girlfriend, Rondell Hardin. In those calls, we hear Smith tell Hardin not to talk to police and to delete his Facebook page. The first witness Monday was Detective David Anderson with the Plymouth Police Department. Anderson testified that he interviewed Brandon Smothers, who was one of 2 passengers in the car with Jamal on July 6 last year. Anderson said Smothers was cooperative. He also testified he has not been able to locate the second passenger, Antoine Smith, despite trying to track down his location using his cell phone. Anderson testified Antoine was never in one place long enough. A jail guard with the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office also testified that while in jail, Jamal Smith told him, quote, "I'm a nationwide murderer. Go ahead and put it in your notes." There was no mention of a Minnesota murder. The state rested its case on Monday. The defense tried to file a motion for acquittal. However, the judge denied that motion. Jury is expected to receive its case Tuesday. Reporting in Minneapolis, Sarah Tamer, CCX News.
Some Northwest metro cities will have THC regulations on their council agendas this week. This comes after a new law went into effect July 1st, allowing hemp-derived THC edibles and other items to be sold. Adults ages 21 and older can consume edibles and beverages that contain small quantities of THC, which is the active ingredient in marijuana. This law caught cities and some legislators by surprise. That's according to Maple Grove City Council documents. Maple Grove will discuss THC regulation in a work session this week. The city attorney will be present for that discussion. Meanwhile, Robbinsdale will discuss a moratorium at their meeting on Tuesday night. At a July 12th work session, the council expressed interest in adopting a moratorium on the sale of THC products as a way to allow the city more time to examine the issues surrounding the sale. Other cities are expected to discuss THC regulation in the coming weeks. We are under a heat advisory at the beginning of the week, with temperatures expected to feel like they are in the triple digits. The Salvation Army on Noble Parkway in Brooklyn Park is open as a cooling center all week. Centers throughout the Twin Cities are open during normal business hours for people needing respite.
If you're out working in the heat, if you don't have adequate shelter, if your apartment or your house doesn't have air conditioning, come on down to any one of those locations and you can spend some time cooling off, hydrating back up, and staying safe.
Other cooling centers where you can take a break during the day include local community centers, libraries, and movie theaters. It's a time of year that some Minnesotans look forward to all year long. Sweet corn is coming out of the field. On Monday, the first sweet corn of the season went up for sale in Brooklyn Park.
As soon as we put the signs on the road, they just drove in. So it's like the old saying, you know, the horse is heading back to the barn. So people are just rolling in.
Bert Bauman says the corn he sells in his stand, which is right at Highway 169 and 109th Avenue, is grown right here in Brooklyn Park. The stand also has hand-picked green beans, new potatoes, zucchini, and cucumbers. But the signature crop is sweet corn.
It has been a hard year to grow because of all the increasing cost in fertilizer and fuel, and labor is hard to come by. So it has been a challenge, but we are here. We have an excellent crop.
The price increase breaks down to about $1 increase per dozen ears. Bowman plans to have corn down at his Crystal stand by Thursday. Fireworks capped off Maple Grove Days on Saturday night. We streamed the fireworks live on Facebook, but here we'll leave you with just a taste of the show.
The USA Cup soccer tournament is in the books for another year. Jason Melillo has more on the final day of the 37th USA Cup.
Championship day at the USA Cup soccer tournament. Girls U19 Gold Division, MN Eclipse versus Osseo Kicks. Wayzata High School junior to be Anna Munyon floats the shot and goal for Eclipse. Then the free kick by Maddie Hobbs is headed in by Isabel Ullman for a 3-1 Eclipse lead, but Osseo scores 3 second-half goals and wins 4-3. Boys U13 Silver Division Final, Kickers FC of Brooklyn Park against Treble FC. Musa DeCully chips a nice pass to Ethan Vosica, and he finishes for the Kickers, leveling the score. Penalty kicks decide it. Jaden Asamoah buries his PK to keep the Kickers alive, but the next shooter misses, and the Kickers have to settle for second place. Jason Melillo, CCX Sports.
Minnesota is known as the state of hockey. A standout high school goalie from Plymouth is getting set to represent the U.S. at a big tournament. Jay Wilcox has more.
It's been quite a summer for Wayzata boys hockey goalie Will Ingeman, with more to come. The senior to be, seen here during the high school season, was picked for the Team USA U18 select team for the upcoming Hlinka Gretzky Cup in Red Deer, Alberta, Canada.
I'm really excited to, put on the USA colors and represent the country and like Wayzata and all the coaches that have helped me get here. So really excited to do that.
Ingeman made the squad based on a strong showing at the Select 17 development camp in New York State in late June.
It was always a goal, but they did 2 cuts in that, and I was pretty confident I was going to make the next cut because I played really well during the main part of camp. And then I didn't really think I was going to make the team because they didn't have me play the last game. So I was like, I just got cut. They told me at breakfast, and they're like, you're not playing the last game. I'm like, oh gosh, yeah, you're kidding me. And then they ended up telling me that they just saw enough of me, so it turned out all good.
Will is one of 4 Minnesotans who will play in the tournament, which runs July 31st through August 6th. It'll be a good lead-in to his senior season. And yes, he's planning to stay in high school hockey at Wayzata.
We play an awesome schedule that our coach Pat O'Leary's put together, the hardest in the state, and surrounded by great coaches. And I'll be here with all my buddies growing up playing with, and it's just going to be fun to play high school hockey. I love it.
Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
You get what you pay for is an old phrase that can be applied to a lot of things, including fishing. Terry Tuma explains in this week's CCX Fishing Tip.
Had several questions about buying expensive rod. Does it pay? The answer to that question is definitely yes. And the reason being, anglers are requesting high-end rods. If it's spinning or bait casting rods, it doesn't make any difference. But what we really need to understand here is buy the rod, and most of these rods now are made to to match the mood of the fish, but not only the mood of the fish, but it's more of the bait and lure specifics, and also line weight. So there is a big ingredient here in helping us become successful. You know, a rod is nothing more than an extension of your arm. You want to balance it well with your reel, so you don't have this fatigue factor built in after you cast time and time again. And then along with that too, do match these rods with the fishing line, and you're going to see that right on the blank under most of these manufacturers. But the reason being is that you really need to have that rod that's going to have that tip, that power that's applicable, again, for that species and that bait. The best advice here is go to a retail store before you buy it, put it in your hand, and then say, well, is this what I want, or is this not what I do not want? But just give the a rod selection a try. Does it pay to buy expensive rods? Absolutely, yes.
Thanks, Terry. That's all for sports. More news after this.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.